What is up, everybody? It is January 7th at 7 p.m. And everybody knows what's going on in society right now with the whole pandemic.
What is up, everybody?
Podcast, talking about bullshit and other things.
Everybody realizes that sometimes you have good days, other days you have bad days. So this is like the first time since the whole pandemic started that I really, I guess you could say, felt kind of depressed. And you might be going, about what? Well, why I feel this way is today I woke up and it just hit me like I don't really hang out with anybody anymore, like friends, because it's all like shit show out there, and people just don't want to do things. And the only people that I do hang out is with the people at my work, which is it's still cool that I get to hang out with two buddies at work and we shoot the shit and we always talk. But today I just woke up and I was like, I feel like shit. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to deal with nobody. I just want to go to work, put my earbuds in, listen to my music, and shut the world off. Anything but besides that, okay? So I put my headphones on, and I told my boss, I'm like, let me do my work. Let me go do what I need to do. And I basically didn't talk to nobody. I just went to work. And a lot of people are like, hey, dude, you ain't talking to nobody. I was like, yeah, I just don't feel like it. I just feel like keeping to myself, listening to my music, and blocking the world out. And sometimes it comes to the point that sometimes I think a lot of people get depressed, but they don't talk to nobody, or they just let it build up over time. And I think because of what's going on in life, like I said, you can't go nowhere. You can't do much. You can't just go out and invite, like, hey, I'm going to go ask this girl out on a date, because a lot of times you go ask a girl out and they go, oh, I'm not going out. COVID-19's out there. And you're like, what the fuck? You don't want to go out and go grab a burger? Nah, I can't do that. I'm scared for my life. I'm in that panic mode. And it's like, oh, okay. How about we get takeout to your house? Nah, I can't. And it's like, okay. So that's kind of like how I felt today, is real shitty, because I wanted to go out, and I like to go out and do things, and the things I miss the most are the things that are prohibited. You can't go to concerts. You can't go out and hang out with friends because nobody wants to hang out because they're in so much fear and panic. So the only things I do lately is go to work and go to the gym, and that's it. And sometimes going to the gym, even though it's one of my, I guess you say, passions in life, is to stay physically in shape. It gets kind of stale doing the same things every day, and it's the monotonous of doing things every day. So sometimes that's why I just want to get in the fucking car and just go for a car ride, and I'll drive 40 minutes just for no reason. Just go like 40 minutes up the road, and then go to like a beach that's out in the middle of like nowhere, and then turn around and come back. And that's what I did like I think it was like last weekend. I just drove like 40 minutes to a beach when there is a beach like 15 minutes from my house. And this beach is like so seclusive. It's basically $1 million homes out there. And there's maybe like 4 or 5 people out there. And that's literally it. Like 4 or 5 people just out there. And that was it. And it's just you and basically nature. And you just sit there and you can relax and you could listen to the water. And that's all I did. And like I said, today was just one of those days where I just didn't want to get out of bed. I just felt like terrible garbage. And here's the thing. Sometimes a lot of people will come to me and talk to me about their problems and talk to me about what's going on in their life. I go out to talk to certain people. They'll just be like, oh, I'm busy. I don't have time for that. So it's like, it's a shit show, because sometimes people will talk to me about being depressed. And if I have something to talk about, some people are like, oh, nah, dog, I can't really relate to you. I can't really talk. So that's why I'm making this podcast, because it's kind of like, if you've ever listened to the Joey Diaz podcast, whatever one you want to call it, the Joey's Joint or the Church What's Happening Now, he's always put himself out there and told his life stories. And that's one thing I'm really fascinated by, is listening to people's stories. And my buddy Dan said the same thing. He's like, you're a good listener. I'm like, that's exactly what I am. I love listening to people who have a story to tell and have something to say. That's why I've really gotten into podcasting lately and actually uploading podcasts consistently, because I like telling stories and I like hearing stories. And my friend told me today, she goes, you're not the only one that feels like this, from the lockdowns, the shutdowns, and not being able to go places, not being able to go do things. You try to go to like a certain restaurant and the restaurant will be closed. The restaurant just says, due to COVID-19, we're no longer open. Because back in June, I was going to go on a date with this girl, and we both were decided to go Mayport, Florida, which is a very small military town. And we were both going to go try this Thai restaurant, because I haven't had Thai food in I don't even know how long, but Thai food is one of my favorite foods, right? It's just a thing I don't particularly go seek out, because it's just a hard thing to find, like good Thai food, like pad Thai and stuff like that. So we drove all the way out to Mayport, Florida, which is probably about 20 minutes from my house, and I never, ever really ever go there because, like I said, it's a very small town. Like, there's nothing going on. There's no major retail. There's no Walmarts. There's no malls. It's just based around the military, right? And that's basically what people are there for, is for the U.S. military. So we drove up to this Thai restaurant, and when we got up there, it says, due to COVID-19, this restaurant is permanently closed. And that's the weird shit that's going on right now. You want to go out and get like a burger, or go to Thai restaurants, or go wherever you want to go, just to not eat at home once in a blue moon. And it's like, these places are not open anymore. It's very sad, because you're like, I don't want to just be in my house. I just don't want to go from my house to work and go to my house and go to work, because that shit gets very stale. And that's why I think I felt depressed today, because going back and forth to work, doing the same shit for the last 9 months since March, has gotten real stale and real shitty feeling. And I guess a lot of you guys out there can agree and feel the same way, because especially the people that are probably just working from their homes, that's probably a real shitty feeling, just to wake up, roll out of bed, go to your computer, and you're on like Zoom chat all day. That's probably one of the worst things ever. I cannot just stay at home all day, every day, doing my work from my house. That could not happen. I have to go to like a building, a warehouse, or whatever to get my mind right. I can't do it from my house. I'm not one of those dudes that's like, I could sit in my house all day and work. I can't do that. So basically my whole life this year, or last year, has been revolved around getting up at 7 a.m, going to work, and going to the gym and coming home and then doing it all over again. And sometimes that just gets real stale, doing the same things over and over. At least before the pandemic, I would still go to work and go to the gym, but I would also go to concerts and sporting events and do other things outside of just work and go home. And that's one thing that I miss very, very much, is going to concerts and going to sporting events, because I used to feel real joyfulness when I would go to a concert. I would feel like that's my therapy session. Like the lead singer of the band Disturbed would always say in his concerts that the music is the therapy session. And I really 100% agree with that. When you go to a concert, music can alter moods and make you go from being sad to happy. And that's why when I go to the gym, I always put on like the metal playlist, or I put on a playlist of just real hard hitting music, because it motivates me to kick ass in the gym. But when I don't have the opportunity to go to like sporting events, and here's the thing, I used to go to like these hockey games for like $10 a month, right? $10 a month. I mean, $10 a event. And I really miss the fact that I would go. And it's not just the fact that I would go to the games, it's the fact that I would go with my friends, and we would have a beer and we would just yell and cheer and take out that negativity or that aggression of whatever is going on in life on the game. The whole crowd would be going bananas, screaming. And that's one thing that I realistically missed. It's not like I'm a huge hockey fan, because I don't watch hockey on TV. It was just the fact that, like, the camaraderie of going with a friend who was passionate. She was very passionate about going to hockey games, right? She really loved it. She was really into it, and she really was into the shat talking. Like, she would really shit talk at the game. She would yell at the refs, "You suck, ref," and she would yell at the other players, and it was just like something she did, and it was just like a fun thing to do, right? And when you don't have that fun thing to do anymore, and it's like people are telling you, don't go do this anymore, you can't go there, we don't want you to go there, you can get sick. It's like, dumbass, I want to go through things again. I want to be able to get out of my house and not just go to the gym and go to work, you know? Like, going to my work right now, I don't know if it's just the job itself or it's just the whole pandemic or what's going on, but that shit is getting stale. I don't know. I think it's just the job itself that I have is very monotonous. It's the same thing every day. And I guess when you do the same things every day, you can kind of go insane because a lot of times you need a switch, you need a change, you need to do things outside the norm. And doing the same things every day kind of made me a little bit depressed today because, like I said, people noticed it at my work because I'm one of those dudes who's always saying, "Hey, good morning, what's up?" and always talking to people and always joyful and always like kind of flirting a little bit here and there. But when you notice somebody out of the norm, like, "Hey, yo, Trevor's not talking to nobody, Trevor's just being on his own," people are like, "What's wrong?" And when you don't really want to explain it to these people, because sometimes you don't want to go through the whole hoopla of telling people this is what's going on, this is how I feel, because sometimes you feel like people really don't care. They just want to hear, "Oh, I'm good, I'm okay, whoop-de-woo." But at the end of the day, when what's going on, but that shit is getting stale. I don't know. I think it's just the job itself that I have is very monotonous. It's the same thing every day. And I guess when you do the same things every day, you can kind of go insane because a lot of times you need a switch, you need a change, you need to do things outside the norm, and doing the same things every day kind of made me a little bit depressed today because, like I said, people noticed it at my work because I'm one of those dudes who's always saying, "Hey, good morning, what's up?" and always talking to people and always joyful and always like kind of flirting a little bit here and there. But when you notice somebody out of the norm, like, "Hey, yo, Trevor's not talking to nobody, Trevor's just being on his own," people are like, "What's wrong?" And when you don't really want to explain it to these people, because sometimes you don't want to go through the whole hoopla of telling people this is what's going on, this is how I feel, because sometimes you feel like people really don't care. They just want to hear, "Oh, I'm good, I'm okay, whoop-de-woo." But at the end of the day, when you finally do snap and you finally have to talk to somebody or you just tell somebody how you feel and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know you felt like that." But they tell you basically, "Oh, I'm feeling the same way." I'm like, "Oh, really?" They're like, "Yeah, it's just a normal feeling because of all these shutdowns and lockdowns and doing the monotonous of regular life. That's why people feel that way." And I was like, "Oh, you feel the same way I do?" And they're like, "Yeah, I feel the same way you do. It's just I express it in different ways." And for myself, like I said, I express it through listening to music, working out, and doing other things like that. And just like, I think what my problem is, I build it up and build it up and build it up, and then I just snap. And I'm like, "Oh my God," then I get like this weird ass mood where I don't want to talk to nobody, don't want to do nothing. But today I took that shit out on the gym. Like, I went to the gym and severely kicked ass, like severely went there and busted a lot of ass. I'm talking, I went there and put my music on and just went from workout to workout to workout to workout. And this is what my workout consisted of. This long of a workout was like an hour and like 50 minutes just constantly working out. And like I said, I went from workout to workout to workout to workout, and I didn't stop. Some people in the gym were like, "Oh, okay, you're working out, you're working out, you're working out, you're working out." I'm like, "No, I like to go to the gym and just pound the shit out. I don't care what's going on. I just want to get in there, get my shit done, and get out." And that's exactly how I felt. And as you guys can see from this little clip right here, that's exactly what I was doing. I just went in the gym and I basically took no prisoners, as they say. I was just kicking ass, and man, it felt good. It felt really good to get into the gym and really go from exercise to exercise to exercise to exercise. And the gym is like one of the things that I really love in life because it makes me feel good. Once you feel good, when you look good, you feel good. And that's exactly what I feel like. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if anybody else that's watching the podcast ever feel that way where like you're kind of depressed or you kind of feel like shit because you can't go out and do anything. I know some people will say, I don't feel that way. Yeah, maybe because you don't go anywhere, you don't do nothing. But for the people who actually want to go out and do things and actually experience life, and you can't travel, you can't go nowhere, and if you talk about traveling, people are like, oh, I wouldn't travel if I were you. I wouldn't go anywhere right now. There's a pandemic out there. The things that I see people doing right now to take their mind off the bullshit of reality, they're taking vacation trips up into like the mountains of like Tennessee and staying away from people. I'm like, I want to do shit like that. Just take my mind off of shit. Even if it's a vacation trip by myself, just get the fuck out and go. And then stay in the mountains by yourself for like a week. You get a little cabin. You stay by yourself. You occlude yourself. That would be kind of cool shit because I think that is a way to get your mindset right. Because, like I said, doing the same things every day gets extremely boring. And I've been doing the same freaking shit every single day since I think it was like March 16th when we first had the lockdown, and that's when they considered it a pandemic. Ooh, that's rude. But yeah, like I said, that's what I really want to bring up because I never really express my feelings when it comes to like shit that's going on in my life. And everybody, I don't care from Brian Rose to Eminem to whoever, everybody gets depressed every now and then. Everybody feels shitty from time to time. Everybody wants to be left alone. Sometimes you have to talk to somebody, or sometimes you have to just express yourself some way. And sometimes people drink. Because there's like a dude in my work, that's all he does on the weekends. He's like, I have to drink like six beers and like take like 5 shots of tequila. And I'm like, damn, you're crazy. He's like, no, that's what I do. And I'm like, no, it's because you do that because it's like your way of relaxing. And he goes, well, yeah, kind of. He goes in his garage and he posted a picture, or he showed me a picture. He had like literally like a 12-pack on his desk or table, whatever, and he had like Captain Morgan with like 3 shots. I'm like, you did all that by yourself? He goes, yeah, why? He's like, I put on some Big Bang Theory and I had like 12 beers, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. He's like, you got to do what you got to do. And I'm like, hey, for me, working out is my way of getting the bullshit off me. I'm not taking 17 shots and like 16 beers, but this dude does it every day or every weekend. He's always talking about on his weekend, I'm getting smashed, baby. I'm going to get fucked up today. And I'm like, damn, you can go get smashed and tore up from the floor up, but that's just not for me, man. I'm not going to go get tore up from the floor up. That's just not how I roll, baby. I can't do that every week. Every weekend. I can't go get smashed drunk. I used to do that in like college and shit, but when my buddy was like, yeah, we're getting drunk, everybody knows this dude at my job about getting drunk. Everybody knows he talks about it, and everybody knows he drinks, and people are like, yeah, you just talk that, and he shows pictures. He's like, I ain't talking it, I'm doing it. I don't talk to talk. It's like, you don't talk to talk and walk to walk, then you ain't doing nothing. But he really does that beer drinking life, and I used to be that way where I would have a few beers every now and then, but it is what it is. Like I said, it was just one of those days, like I said. It's like that Limp Bizkit song. It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks. You really don't know why. You want to testify, ripping someone's head off. And that's exactly how I feel about today. I really feel like I didn't want to wake up. But when you actually hear like other people that you know, they're like, yeah, we're going through the same things. It's a normal feeling. They're like, I'm surprised it took you this long. And I'm like, yeah, if you think about it, that's almost 9-10 months that I've gone through this whole pandemic and never felt nothing until today. And I'm like, because I think what happened is I woke up and I realized I haven't seen certain people in like almost a year, when we used to hang out all the time. Even though they live like 2 hours away, we used to hang out all the time. And it's just the fact that I miss certain things in life. The concerts, the going to the hockey games, and just going out and doing things like going out and grubbing with certain people and hanging out with certain people. If you guys are feeling the same way, let me know with a comment down below, because like I said, in 2020, I was trying to make it a year of traveling, a year of seeing the world, because me and my pops, we were supposed to go see Ireland last year, and we were thinking about going to see Ireland this year, but it's like, really? I don't even want to fucking go anywhere. Like, you can't travel anywhere. I don't want to travel somewhere and be like, oh, you got to quarantine in like a hotel for like a week. Zonk, you ain't quarantining in no place, and I don't want to have to wear a mask and be limited to where I can and cannot go. I don't want to go to Ireland and they go, oh, you can't go to the pub, you can't go here. So the experience would be like a shitty experience. It'd be like a waste of money. I know people are still traveling. I see people on Instagram. They're literally going and traveling all the time. They're like, hey, I'm going to the Bahamas for like $5. Cool. You do you. But it's like, I don't want to go places where you can't go, or they're more restricted, or they're more locked down. And it's like, I like going to Orlando, Florida. I love going down there. There's a shit ton of things to do. I'm like, what if I went there tomorrow on my day off? Well, what is there to do down there now? Nothing. It'd be like a waste of my 2-hour drive just to go down there, just to drive around, and there ain't nothing going on there because everything is closed. Same thing where I live. That's why I really haven't left my I drive around the city, but there ain't shit to do. And a lot of people are like, well, I never did anything anyway. Well, that's you. I'm the kind of person who occasionally likes to go out and occasionally likes to go places and occasionally likes to do things. Like, I don't mind going bowling. The bowling alleys are closed. You want to go to the Topgolf place. That place is on like restricted, maybe a few people here and there. It just makes no sense. And the making no sense is certain places can be open, certain places can't. Like, I just found out from my buddy, which I had no clue this was going on. He said in England right now, special needs schools for like special ed kids are allowed to go to school, right? But then if you're going to a regular school, you're not allowed to go there. That makes no freaking sense. So you're going to tell me if I had a daughter and she had to go to a regular school, she's not allowed to go to that regular school. But if she's like a special ed kid, she's allowed to go to school. How does that make any sense? Like, that makes no obvious sense to me whatsoever. Like, why would some kid be able to go to a school that says, yeah, and here's what my buddy wrote. Goes, I'm not sure how good special needs schools are. Especially, it says, it's pretty good. It says, I'm happy she's allowed to go to school. It's kind of BS. Because I wrote this. It says, that makes no sense. Special needs schools are allowed to be open, but normal schools can't. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. What makes the difference, basically? Because I said, here, private schools are allowed to be open. So a private school is basically a school that you pay for your kid to go to school, let's say $20,000 a year. But why is it not okay for a regular public school not to be open? That makes no sense whatsoever. You're still having kids congregate together. What is the difference? Oh, well, they're paying for their kids to go to school. Yeah, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, private schools are allowed to be open, but a school where a normal kid needs to go to regular school, that's not allowed. That makes no sense. Just like my buddy was saying that special needs schools are allowed to be open, but basic public schools are not. Like, what? That's like saying the Amazon warehouses are allowed to be open, but the UPS warehouses can't. Oh, well, the UPS is having massive outbreaks of the virus, but the Amazon facilities are not. Huh? That makes no sense. That's like, that makes no sense. So that's why I'm saying it makes no sense right now what they're talking about. Certain places can be open, certain places can't. Why or why not? Just let me know that. Why is certain places be open? That's why I said I don't do nothing anymore. I don't go no place. I don't go nowhere besides the gym and my house and the work, because you never know what's going to be open. You Google and it says, oh, it's open, and then you go there and it's like, oh no, we're closed due to COVID-19. Or it says it's open and you go there to get something to eat, or you go there to have fun, and it's like, oh, we're technically not open right now. You can come in, you have to order on the app and get your food to go. And it's like, I'm not ordering on no damn app. I just want to get the food and leave. Or I just want to go there and have fun. Like, the only other place I went to that was pretty cool during the pandemic was this axe throwing place. Me and this girl that we were seeing if we were going to date, right? We went to this axe throwing place, and she was the one who invited me to go. And she picked it out, and it was actually pretty cool. You go, you have to wear a mask. Cool, whatever. And you threw these axes at the wall. It was kind of like a gun range, but for axes. That was actually pretty dope. That was actually something that was fun. And if it's still open, I wouldn't mind going back and throwing axes. It gets you out of the mindset of doing the same repetitive shit. I mean, doing the same shit every day gets monotonous. It gets old. It gets stale. And that's why I think today I woke up and I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to do nothing. I was just like, leave me the F alone, put my music on, and that was it. And I put on the playlist on my phone, the metal playlist of Spotify, and this is one of the songs that was on my playlist that popped up, and I was rocking out to it and jamming out to it, and it was actually a good time, like I said. And also listen to music. If you listen to like 10 songs in a row, your day goes by hella quick. My day went by hella quick at work. And then my boss comes up and goes, hey, the day is almost over. You ready to go? And I'm just like, you don't even know I'm ready to bounce. I'm ready to get the hell out of this place. And when I got in my car, I was just like, but like I said, if you guys are ever feeling depressed or sad or anything like that, make sure you talk to somebody, because if you don't, you can really build it up. And when you build it up and build it up and build it up and build it up, you're just going to snap on somebody and tell somebody to go F it, or tell somebody to go screw off. And sometimes that's not good. So that is one thing I got to learn, is when I feel a certain way, I need to talk about it more. And that's why I'm making this podcast. Like I said, the Joey Diaz podcast is the podcast that I really love, because it's the best podcast I've ever heard. He talks about shit that no one ever talks about. He talks about mugging pedophiles. He talks about the funniest story is that I've ever heard him talk about is mugging a hooker and ripping off her wig and burning it. He's talked about the craziest things that's happened in his life, and that's what this podcast is all about, is doing kind of similar to what he does. Because out of any podcast I've ever heard, Joe Rogan, The Fighter and the Kid, whatever it is, he just seems like the most realist dude. And he makes, like $500,000 a year. He's a rich guy, but he comes off as a regular Joe. He always tells people in this podcast, I'm not rich, I'm not a celebrity, I'm just a regular ass dude. And I can relate to a lot of stuff that he talks about, but most of the stories, I'm like, I can't relate to that. I can't relate to beating up a hooker or mugging a pedophile or anything like that. But his stories are just captivating, and that's why I'm trying to make this podcast captivating for you guys, so you guys understand where I'm coming from. And it could be like he said, his podcast is his therapy session, so he can talk to the audience, and people listen and people enjoy his stuff. And that's exactly what I want to do with this podcast, is open up and explain to you guys who I am, what I'm all about. Overall, that's just basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about for today's podcast. Is with nothing being open and this fucking pandemic being out there, your boy got a little like depressed a little bit today, a little bit sad, a little bit on the I guess you say the lonely side, because I was just like, man, I just feel like shit today. And normally I don't feel like that. Normally I'm just like that normally happy-go-lucky kind of guy, listening to the music, going to work, having a great time, joking with my buddies. But today I didn't talk to nobody. It was just like get to work, get my work done, go home, get in the gym, work out, come home, and make this podcast. And that's basically it. But overall, man, hopefully you guys have a good 2021, and sometime in the near future we can get back to normal life. Don't say this is the new normal. Shut your mouth with that new normal shit. I want to get back to a normal life where I can go to concerts again, I can go to sporting events again, and I don't have to worry about hitting a friend up, hey, you want to go to this place? Nah, I'm okay, there's too many people there. Like that to me is weird, when people are like, nah, dog, there's too many people at that place, I'm not going. So I just want to get back to enjoying life and getting back to going places, like going to Disney, going to zip lining, just road tripping again, and just getting out of my comfort zone and doing things like I used to. Like I said, I would love to go right now and go up to Atlanta, Georgia, and see the mountains. Just drive up there and see the mountains, and just drive into Atlanta and visit friends. But when you hit people up, hey, you want to go to Atlanta with me? Nah, I'm good. You want to go to the mountains? No, I'm okay. What else do people not want to do right now? Stay in their house and never leave? But as always, guys, I will I'll talk to you guys in the next Daily Grind podcast. See you guys soon.